Now let's go to our final guest of the day. Let's not keep him waiting any longer. He is El Gallo, the problem child. He returns to action on June 28th in Anaheim, Honda Center. Main event, DAZN pay-per-view. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., the one and only Jake Paul. Kind enough to join us on this Monday afternoon. Hello, Jake. How are you?
Good. How are you, Ariel?
Yo, I didn't plan this out, but you're coming on right after Clarissa Shields, and there was a lot of MVP talk in the interview. I legit did not plan you two being back-to-back. I don't know if you caught any of it or saw any clips or anything like that, but she was a little fired up.
No. I mean, she's always got a lot to say, but the numbers and the events that we do speak for themselves, and the women's roster that we have speaks for itself. So we don't really pay attention to her, and neither does anyone else.
All right. Well, I'm hopeful that you guys do business somewhere down the line. She's a free agent after her next fight, so I think that could be interesting. But if we can we start there? This decision, it's very clear you guys have gone all in on women's boxing. Last week announcing the signing of Chantel Cameron, Savannah Marshall, and then Holly Holm right after your press conference concluded. When did this all start? You and Nikisa coming together and saying like, all right, let's go all in on this.
Yeah, I mean, I think from day one, we just saw how scattered and terrible boxing is ran, operated, and managed. These old promoters who aren't good at business, and they're very greedy. They don't put their fighters first. And so we've been able to prove a model that marketing and content and messaging is king, working with the biggest platform in the world like Netflix, and really just treating fighters the best out of any other promotion, and making them the highest paid that they've ever come across in their whole entire careers. So this is really the place to be, and MVP has just doubled down on the women's side of things, and we just have so much expertise there. Going to make so many super fights happen there, but really it's just the start of the bigger picture, which is just taking over the whole entire sport of boxing. And it's only been 3.5 years, and we've already made such an everlasting impact.
Are there more women's signings to come to be announced? Holly was on Wednesday, and then, like I said, you had the two others, and you had Alicia, and on it goes. Are there more on the radar?
Yeah, we're working on things behind the scenes. You know, the goal is to have the whole women's roster. So there's definitely some conversations happening and more things to come. So just a lot of exciting things going on in MVP, and really just starting to expand the company now.
The last time we spoke, the last time we saw you in action, obviously was November, Netflix, AT&T Stadium. The high of that event, that was insane. Obviously, it permeated well past the world of boxing. The sports world. I mean, it was crazy. Even for me, just being on the broadcast, unlike anything I've ever experienced. So I can't imagine what it was like for you, who was actually a part of it. How long did it take for you to just kind of come down from all of that, to just sort of get back to some sort of normalcy? Because I would imagine it wasn't exactly normal in the immediate aftermath.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been crazy, man. I think I can't go anywhere without getting bombarded by all age groups now. And it's just so many people who watched it and loved it and became a fan. And so my life has definitely changed since that moment. Any bigger necessarily, but it turns out I was wrong, and it's definitely been crazy and still coming down from it, honestly. But really just focusing on June 28th. You can get your tickets at Ticketmaster. I'm going to knock out Chavez and just putting a lot of focus on there, but I do definitely love the big fight energy and sort of miss it.
And I'm just sort of like working through the timeline. A clip came out over the weekend of you crying from your reality show, Paul American, which is on Max, soon to be HBO Max, which I guess was just a couple of days, 12 or so days before the Tyson fight. You're very, very emotional when speaking of the fight, saying that you're excited but also a little bit scared. You had a bum ankle, a sprained ankle. Was that the constant like state of emotions leading up to the fight in the days, or did they catch you in a particular mood that day?
No, I was definitely in a particular mood. There was so much going on, the stakes of the fight, the pressure, completely spraining and ripping my ankle ligament just a couple of days before that, being scared to have to go in there, fighting him, Mike Tyson with a bum ankle, like you're saying, and also just feeling so much gratitude, knowing how big of a moment this all was going to be. So it was like fear, happiness, all of these emotions mixed into one. And I think in some of my toughest and craziest moments, like always a couple weeks before I get emotional sometimes.
Okay, so you're okay with that being out, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think it's important that you document everything. And I think it's important to share with the world your true emotions as a man, as a fighter, as an athlete, and to inspire others to feel those things and to not be afraid to cry, to let it out, that's what we are as human beings, is feelers. And so putting that out there for everyone else, I think can inspire others to let those emotions come through, be able to process them. Because if you just bottle that up and go into the fight with that, it's not going to be good. So I'd love to be an example and show my whole entire story to the world so that maybe some people can relate to it.
How soon after the Tyson fight did you start working on the next one? And correct me if I'm wrong, it seemed like the next one was Canelo. How soon after did that start?
It was like less than 72 hours. We were, talking with Canelo's team. So it started instantly.
Was that something where you approached them or did they approach you?
I think it was a mutual sort of reach out, but Nikisa had been chatting with his lawyer for years, just always knowing that that fight had to happen at some point. So I think after the fight, they were just messaging each other and like, let's, make this come into something now.
Not trying to relitigate the whole thing, which kind of played out, but in your mind, like if this was a football field, how close to the end zone was this fight from happening on Cinco de Mayo weekend?
We were on the 1 yard line and we got a pick six. The interception going the other way, man, in the fourth quarter, game winner, and we just got intercepted. So, but I understand it. Basically, they threatened to pull Canelo's $300 million contract if he were to fight me. That's how bad they want me out of boxing. They can't stand that I'm the one doing the biggest events. So they threatened to pull his $300 million contract if he was going to fight me. So I understand where Canelo was coming from and wanting to secure that bread for his family.
Why do you think that was? Because it wasn't like it was conflicting with the Crawford date. So why do you think that was, if your information is correct, on the table where, hey, like you take this fight against Jake, we're taking away the rest, the 3-fight deal. Why do you think they cared that much?
Because if you are someone spending billions of dollars in an industry and you aren't number one and having the biggest events, and meanwhile there's like a little Disney kid running around spending $0 and having the biggest events, as a competitor, you're gonna do anything to stop that person and to be the biggest. And so that's the nature of this dirty business in boxing, and the egos involved and how badly people want to be the king of this sport. And so that's the nature of the beast.
How do you think that fight would have gone?
I would have beat Canelo for sure. Even just watching him against Skull, he's just washed up, inactive, doesn't throw a lot of punches, not very strong. And what's crazy is one of my main sparring partners from the last 2 years was the one who lost to William Skull. He was the one that should be fighting Canelo, and his name's Shishkin, Vladimir Shishkin. He beat Skull way worse than Canelo did, and this is the guy I'm sparring with every day for 2.5 years, going toe to toe with. So people say I'm crazy. They've said this the whole journey. They said I wouldn't beat Tyson. They said I wouldn't beat Nate Robinson. They said I wouldn't beat Nate Diaz. They said I wouldn't beat Silva and Woodley and Ben Askren, every single person. So when it happens, like I'm gonna have the last laugh, and I know what I'm capable of, and there's a lot more names on the list that I'm going to beat in the next couple of years, and it's going to be the greatest boxing career of all time.
Do you think by the time it's all said and done for him, he does fight you?
Yeah, I think so.
Will you still be interested? Like if it's in like 3, 4 fights, and let's say he goes 2-2 in those fights, will you still be interested in that fight?
I think so. Just because we're arguably like I would say just from a third party point of view, we're the two biggest names in the sport. And because of that, it's just going to be fun and exciting. And I like making history and doing big events.
Did you watch his fight against Skull?
Yeah.
Like if you were to grade it, what would you grade it?
An F. I mean, just that whole weekend was probably the worst weekend in boxing forever and all of boxing's existence, right? Like I threw more punches in 8 rounds that were 2 minutes than every single fighter that whole entire weekend. So it's just I don't know what's going on over there, but I come to fight. I come to make entertaining fights, knock people out, put people on the canvas, and I guess other people just don't have that mentality.
And for the record, I think you're talking about Friday, Saturday. In a way, on Sunday was tremendous, but you're talking about the Friday, Saturday fights, right?
Yeah. Oh, the Inoue fight was great, but I'm mostly speaking to Friday and Saturday, that Times Square, and then
Riyadh.
so.
While we're on the train, you've talked about, so the next fight for Canelo is this Crawford fight, but now we're trying to figure out what's going on with who's promoting it and what's happening, because Turkey tweeted yesterday that Sella is now promoting it, and the date changed. That was announced last week, that the date was changed. So what do you make of what's happening here? Do you have any sort of insight into this?
Is Dana still involved? Because I think I mean, if he is, it's the biggest W on his part, because he's not putting up any money. He's the promoter. He's involved getting a percentage of the cuts. His name is attached to it, all this stuff. So if that's the case, it's pretty crazy and a big win for Dana on that part. But I don't know what's going on over there. I didn't see this news yet.
Okay, all right. People are trying to figure out what is actually happening, because he said now that the promoter is Sella, but Sella has obviously promoted his events in the past, so it's a little unclear right now. So I thought maybe you would have some intel after Canelo obviously didn't materialize. Was the next one Tank?
Yeah. I mean, that was on the 1 yard line as well, but he has to rematch Lamont Roach. He wants to get that back. And then we'll be back in discussions with Mr. Gervonta. But man, this is the nature of boxing. You have massive fights on the 1 yard line and things just fall through.
As you're watching it, like he was a gigantic favorite, and this is on the heels of the Canelo thing, are you like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know though, because I never really thought Tank was that good. It would just take the right fighter to pick him apart, to be honest. Someone who had high activity and wasn't afraid of his power. So I always saw so many holes in his game. So to me, it wasn't that surprising that someone finally gave him some good work.
If you do fight, what weight would it be at?
195.
Oh, wow. So he would go all the way from 40 to 95?
Yeah, I mean, it would be an exhibition.
Okay. And so what does that mean? Is that 3-minute rounds?
Yeah, 10 3-minute rounds.
And when you say exhibition, like what are the restrictions on that?
No restrictions, just the fact that like we couldn't actually get it professionally sanctioned.
Okay. Is that still of interest to you? Like if he wins the rematch and you beat Julio, is that of great interest to you later this year?
For sure. For sure. Like I said, big events. And, when we had announcement videos filmed for Canelo and for Gervonta, like
Oh,
both
well.
filmed and fully edited. And my team went into the streets to ask people what they thought of me versus Gervonta. Every single person was like, Gervonta would kill Jake. He's going to die, all of this stuff. And so just proving people wrong and changing the narrative and showing people that I'm a better boxer than all of these so-called pound for pounds is just fun for me.
So then ultimately, how did you end up with Julio? And were there other names that were being considered before you did end up with him?
Yeah, I mean, I think Julio, that conversation has always been there, and fans have always wanted it. And he's a former world champion, super experienced, and it's a good chip on my belt to test myself in the ring with a very, very tough opponent. And he has, the name behind him, the Mexican fan base, Puerto Rico versus Mexico, and he was actually somebody that stepped up to the table, right? The Tommy Fury discussions have always been there, the KSI discussions have always been there, but those guys don't actually want to make a fight happen. So Julio stepped up, credit to him, and we made June 28th happen. Everyone pull up, Ticketmaster.com, get your tickets.
Yes, the Zone pay-per-view, Honda Center.
Anaheim, baby.
Over the last few days, speaking of KSI, Nikisa, who now is a force on Twitter, all of a sudden he got his Twitter account, and him and Mams are going back and forth, pretty much like negotiating you versus KSI on X on Twitter. And so, are we getting closer to it? In any like, I view all of this as some kind of positive because it seems like there's communication, there's talking behind the scenes, in front of the cameras, or like in on Twitter. Here's one of Nikisa's tweets. We have Mams's as well. Are we getting closer to it? Is this now becoming a reality?
I don't know, man. Like from our side, we've always been the ones wanting to make it happen. I don't think Mams is actually even involved in KSI's fighting stuff. I think the Wasserman people are the ones running it. So like he's just doing his clout thing on Twitter. And we've always tried to make it happen. I agreed to go down to 192.5, which is lower than Gervonta, the weight we have agreed for Gervonta, which is lower than me versus Canelo. Um, and so now there's all these new negotiation terms, which I didn't even know of. They only want 8 rounds, like all this. So they just keep on adding new stuff all the time. Um, and I'm focused on much bigger things, becoming world champion, fighting, you know, guys like Gervonta, guys like Canelo, guys like Anthony Joshua in 2026. Usyk wants to fight me in MMA. These are all the things that I'm looking to do. I'm all KSI has. He's literally nothing without the Paul brothers. Logan brought him Prime, and Prime has kept him relevant. And him being able to fight me is the only thing he has left. And at the end of the day, I'm doing much bigger things and don't need to sit here and be negotiating things on Twitter. If they want to make the fight happen, they're going to do it.
Do you think it happens at this juncture in your
I
heart?
don't. I don't.
Oh,
I've said since before I fought Gibb. I said I'm going to knock out Gibb, and he's never going to want to fight me. So I've been saying this for 5, 6 years, and this is a longer negotiation than Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. Like someone tweeted that we've been negotiating longer than Floyd and Manny, and it's like I'm clearly the one who's an active fighter. I'm clearly fighting everybody. I don't care. So who's the problem? It's clear as day, and they just aren't a serious boxing brand or a serious boxing business. Misfits has gone to shit. Their whole entire thing is a joke. Their brand is a joke. Like there's clearly one side who knows what they're doing, and there's another side who is just joking around and is just a circus.
They had Darren Till win over the weekend. Did you watch his performance and did it pique your interest?
No, I didn't. I don't even know he's fighting or where or what.
All right. Well, here's some highlights. We could watch them together on the zone. Nice little knockdown there. That was Darren Stewart, the dentist, former UFC fighter. He scored a buzzer beater knockout in the 8th round.
Who did?
Till did. Till won. He kind of threw him there, then boom, there it is. The left hand from hell. What do you think of the high black socks?
I don't know.
Did you catch Tommy Fury's Friday afternoon fight in Hungary?
Yeah, I did watch that, and man, I just can't wait to get back in there with this guy because in the past 3 years, right? I fought him after 2 years of being a pro boxer. Now it's been 3 years since then, and it's just night and day. And he hasn't gotten any better, right? He's been boxing since he's 6 years old. It's going to be the same stuff, same coach, his dumbass dad. He hasn't gotten any better. So I just can't wait. Seriously, I can't wait to get in there with him. And whenever we can make that happen, it's going to be Christmas Day for me.
Do you think that happens this year?
I think the Fury fight will happen in the next 12 months. Yeah.
Oh wow, okay. And you're keen to see it come to fruition. You want it.
Yeah, I mean, he just has to be realistic about what he's worth, right? Like he just had a free fight on the zone that tanked, couldn't sell the tickets in wherever he was, like 1,000-person venue. And he just like is negotiating like he's God. So again, I have 10 names waiting to fight me in multiple different sports, MMA, boxing, all this stuff. And these people just have to be realistic about what they're wanting to get paid. And Tommy Fury isn't. But I DM'd Tyson Fury because Tyson was like, you guys need to make this happen now. And I was like, Tyson, you got to put your brother in check here. He's not going to get this money or this offer anywhere else. He already missed out on the massive opportunity in Netflix. It's his dad who is his manager who has no idea what the fuck he's doing. And you can't let your dad run your career. And Tommy's not his own boss. He's a airhead as well. So I just feel bad for him because he thinks he's worth more than what he's worth.
So you mentioned MMA, one name, and I feel like I'm going through a laundry list of guys here, but it's been a while and there's so many names attached to you. Your brother said the only time he would fight you would be in MMA. Was that just like him saying things, or is that a real thing?
I mean, I'm guessing that's real. I didn't see him say that, but I'm guessing that's very real. Like for him, that would level the playing field because we both have never done MMA.
Right. I still feel like that's one of the biggest fights. Like I think it's bigger than some of the names we just mentioned. I hate to say it because it's two brothers, but I still feel like we go those clips from the podcast. Like there's something there, man. I mean, we can't lie. There's some sort of sibling rivalry there. Am I crazy?
I mean, I'd be down to do it just for fun, like
Box?
but I don't think it would ever happen. No.
And when you say just for fun, you mean the boxing, right?
Yeah, anything, anything, MMA, boxing, however.
Okay. There's one guy who keeps saying he doesn't want to fight you, but I think would actually sell his soul to fight you. He says that he would donate the purse to charity, but doesn't actually have the charity in mind, never says the charity. He says he'll fight you with one hand behind his back. I think that's how much he wants to fight you. He once sold 80,000 tickets to a fight in Wembley. He's a big deal here in America. He fought at the Avalon Theater in front of, I think, 50 to 60 people. You're familiar with the Cobra?
No. Who?
Carl Froch?
Oh, this fucking guy, bro. Does he pay you guys to like bring him up?
No, he hates me. We're involved in a huge feud because he thinks that
I don't know who like he is really. I know he used to be a decent fighter, I guess. But I swear he's paying the media or something to.
He ain't paying me. In fact, this is how I get it. I get it both ways. He thinks that you're paying me. I get it both ways.
What? To do what?
To talk about you, to say that you're a fighter, to say all these things. I don't even know what he's saying. Get out of me. Get out of boxing. Get out of this. You don't know what you're talking about. You're on the payroll. But he keeps saying that he doesn't want to fight you, but all his videos are about you. And I think he really wants to fight you. I think he's playing hard to get.
Man, he's never gonna he's never gonna fight me. I'll never fight this guy. I don't know. He should just give it up.
All right. Well, there you have it. That's a little sad.
Him and Clarissa Shields can go hang out somewhere.
And is Joshua a real thing in 26? Joshua's a real thing in 26?
Yeah.
Have you actually talked?
Yeah, we talked on the phone for like 10 minutes.
Wow.
And we're both down. And I said 2026. He was like, all right, let's get it. And we're going to make it happen. So yeah, I think that's going to be a mega fight next year and something fun to test my skills at heavyweight. But I think his chin is gone. And especially if he fights another time or two in between the end of 2026. I love Anthony. He's always supported me. I've always supported him, but I just do believe I can beat him in a fight.
And Usyk said MMA?
Yeah, Usyk wants me in MMA. Look, man, the only thing I can't do in my career is create time. Like, I don't have enough time to do all of these things. I wake up every day pissed off at time. That's the only thing that can get me mad because I just don't have enough of it. Otherwise, I'd be doing all of these things. We're still running like 8 different companies at the same time, putting out content, all this stuff. So really just need some more time.
And Nate still wants to fight you again.
I didn't even know about that one.
Okay. Well, June 7th, you've got another Most Valuable Prospect show in Orlando. That is headlined by Beatriz Ferreira, who's a great young fighter out of Brazil. Then June 28th in Anaheim on DAZN pay-per-view, Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Getting to work with Oscar De La Hoya. You like it?
Yeah, Oscar's great, man. I've always loved Oscar, been a fan of his growing up. So it's cool to be able to work with Golden Boy, and they've done an amazing job, and it's been a great partnership so far.
And Holly Holm, out of nowhere. Incredible.
So another legendary thing from MVP, man. I watched her growing up in the UFC, and a lot of people don't know that she was a boxing champion, and so now she's going to return and get the belt back.
And then July 11th on Netflix, Madison Square Garden, home of the 2025 NBA champions. I'm not sure if you've been paying attention. I know you're busy, locked in. Knicks doing their thing. So that's going to be quite the scene, like literally 2 weeks after the parade. New York's going to be on fire.
You're saying that like you're manifesting it.
I'm manifesting it. That's my team ever since I was 8 years old. I'm just trying to put it out there. Could you imagine what New York City will be like 2 weeks after the Knicks? The city's going to be on fire. It's literally going to burn to the ground. I hope not.
Be careful with what you're saying.
I hope. Will you return to Netflix? Are you going to come back and fight on Netflix?
Yeah, bro. Yes, that's the move, and we have a great relationship with them, and lots of big fights to come on Netflix soon.
All right. Well, we look forward to that. Looking forward to your return in a little over a month. Appreciate it, Jake. Thank you so much. Good luck in training.
Thank you, Ariel.
And we'll see you on June 28th.
Alrighty, I'll see you soon.
All right, there he is. The one and only Jake Paul, El Gallo, the problem child, joining us. And we will see him again in a little over a month. That's the June 28th card on DAZN. The July 11th card is at Madison Square Garden. That's the all-women's card, headlined by Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano, Part 3. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.